Hey, my name is Matt and welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about ChatGPT 5 and their thinking modes. These are all new modes that they just opened up, and we can actually select what it is that we want GPT to pay attention to. So this is super powerful stuff. I want to show you how this can start making you money today. If that sounds good, smash the like button. Let's dive in. All right, if you're spending any time in the news, then you know that tariffs are a big topic right now. It is all over the news. Now, if you are an importer, if you import anything into the United States, you have to pay a tariff, and figuring out how much that costs takes a lot of effort. It's not clear. The tariff rates are changing every hour, it seems, and that is why you want to come up with something that actually helps importers with their imports. Okay, so the big business, billions and billions of dollars pass through our borders every single day, and this is a huge opportunity. All right, so I just want to show you guys from the thumbnail that this World Trade Online, this is like an inside trade website. They deal with all kinds of tariffs and what's going on with the trade deals and everything. These guys are charging $1,180 per year, which works out to, divide by 12, $98.33 per month for their inside deal. This is like their exclusive membership. So this is a really interesting opportunity, because if you can get 20, 30 people in the door to your tool, let's say it's an ongoing thing where you're posting news and updates and showing them the latest tariff rates with the calculators and whatnot, then you're looking at, let's say, the $98 times 28, average 28 days in a month. Really, we'll do 30. We're looking at an extra $3,000 in your pocket. That's just for 30 people using this service. Now you just expand that out, get a couple hundred people in there, and boom, you're making really good money. So I wanted to show you that, and I want to show you what I'm working on. I had worked with ChatGPT regular 5, so this is on auto right now, and I just wanted it to get me the full list of the tariffs. What are the current rates? What does that look like? Then I asked for a full printed list, and it's giving me a pretty comprehensive breakdown of everything. Okay, now the year on this is clearly old, so we need to do a little more research, and that's why we're going to go to the deep research here, and I'm going to switch it over to thinking. So this is going to spend a little more time and the deep research. Please find me the latest tariff rates for the United States versus all other countries as of today, 8/14/25. Now, it's going to go to work and find all these tariff rates, and we're going to say we want all countries, all data, please. Go to work. Now, while that works, that may take a little while, so we're going to come back to it. Something that we need to think about when we're doing this is, what kind of data could we tap into? Let's say we want to make a calculator. I was messing around with Gemini, and truth be told, it did not do a great job. I found this to be very clunky and ugly, and that's why I kind of, I'm not super happy with it. But what I think is really important is that we can use ChatGPT's new thinking mode to help us craft an even better tool. So the idea is, we're going to do a bunch of research here. We're going to import the research into our tool, and we're going to see what kind of data can we import on a regular basis, right? So if we're going to build a tool, we want it to be up to date. Now, I'm going to front load it with a bunch of research as of today, but how do we future-proof this? How do we make it so that in the future it works? Now, I did a little digging, and I found that DataWeb, this is like a government site, they offer this data on tariffs. You can literally look at the tariff database, you can get annual data, all this stuff, and I believe they have an API. So what that means is we should be able to actually tap into the live data. So when the tariff rate changes, the API would pull the current database, and we would have fresh data. So you can see here that this is as of July 16th. So things haven't changed because they've been kicking the can down the road, sort of. China was supposed to have a new tariff rate as of like yesterday. Now it's in November. So we're going to be getting new data as it comes out. So let's see. Let's just try. Let's try 8501. Why not? Let's see what comes up. And it's going to give you a list of all of this looks like electrical motors and stuff. And it's giving you a breakdown of that category and when that tariff went into effect. So we could see here, most of these are pretty old. We're not seeing anything new. So we could basically go in and do a search here, and we could try to figure out different parts and stuff. So let's say you're trying to find like LCD screens, right? We can use their search tool, LCDs. This is, let's try this. Let's see what we get here. So we got a tariff clarification from May. So this is pretty new. And we get a breakdown of LCD monitors, different items, and basically like what that's going to cost to import this stuff, right? So we're using the government data to keep our stuff up to date. So let's go check out our research. We're still working here. Let's start making the calculator while we wait, and then we could feed in the data and see how it goes. We're on thinking. We're also going to use canvas mode. So it's right here. Really important if you're going to be making any kind of code, anything like that. I want to create a helpful tariff calculator, calculator that can be used for any country. I have research data to feed you with current rates, but for now, please make an HTML-based tariff calculator with last known tariff date. And that's really important because, like I mentioned before, the tariffs are changing all the time. There's deals being cut, there's deals falling through. This is going to be an ongoing thing. People that are doing business in other countries, I'll give you a short story. I was trying to buy some LCD screens from another country, and I had no idea what the effective tariff rate was. I was looking online, I was on Reddit, I was going all over the place trying to figure it out. Could not figure it out. Bet that it was going to be about 100% because it was coming from China. And when it all was said and done, it was actually way less than I thought it would be. So I got off easy, but I kind of like planned for the worst and prayed for the best, and it just worked out. For people like myself or other people that are doing business, you need to be able to figure out what these costs are actually going to be. Because if you're spending thousands of dollars, you need to make sure that you're going to break even or at least make a profit in whatever it is that you're doing. All right, let's take a look at our code here. This is our first iteration of the calculator, and that's not super bad. GPT-5 has been actually really good with the coding lately. I've noticed a big uptick in the design quality. It's a lot better with an interface. So let's just try it out, and then we'll fill in some more data. So United States, we'll set it for that. Let's set it for Canada. HS code, I think we had 8501. Let's just see, we'll match longest. Okay, duty base. So let's say it's like 25. Freight, 100. Insurance, 100. Calculate. And there we go. We get a full breakdown of everything. And our total landing cost, 225. I'll move myself there. Okay. How rates are found. Gives you full breakdown. I mean, this is useful stuff. We could download the schema if we want to and probably break it. We could even export it as a PDF. Okay. Now, this doesn't seem to be working, but that's okay. We can make it work. Let's see. Export PDF. Let's try that. So let's do please fix the export PDF function and the copy and the download schema button. Okay, now it's going to fix that. Now, while we wait, I want to show you guys a little bit of the traffic, okay? We are going to take a look here. Let's just search for tariff calculator. All right, we're going to see this time tracks one. Got a bunch of competitors here, but take a look at how simple this is. Pick a country. It has the percentages built right into it. That's actually very nice and simple. Let's say China. Purchase price, I spent 150. Calculate, it's going to give you a breakdown. Now, this is not nearly as detailed as it would need to be because there are different classifications, different things. Autos are being tariffed differently than steel. Small consumer products under $800 are being tariffed at a different rate. So this is not really the best version of this. And that's why I think if somebody were to take this on, they could actually do a much better job. So let's take a look. They're getting about 5,500 people a month. They rank number one, tariff calculator, 3,200 searches a month. If we were going to go over to Google Trends, we could see if this even is trending. I'm sure it is. Now that keyword's not, but let's just look up tariffs. Tariffs are definitely trending. Related queries, PPI report. Now that is relating to the, I believe, the economic report that came out just a day or two ago, right? PPI report shows biggest surge in 3 years, 1 hour ago. Now pay attention to what is showing in Google right now. This is news related stuff. This is all newsworthy stuff, right? Seeking Alpha, hotter than expected PPI. Stock market today, everything's flat. PPI is looming. That was earlier today, right? We're talking about inflation. We're talking about tariffs, all kinds of stuff like that. If you were to make your tool, how would you go ahead and how would you promote it? What would you do to get it out there? Well, you could try to, obviously, you could try to rank it in Google. We see that there's definitely a method of traffic there. But I would look at this. I would look at doing a press release. I would do different content around the news worthiness of something like this, because a PPI report is a little more relevant today than the tariffs, because the tariffs have not changed all that recently. Let's take a look at YouTube and see what comes up for the PPI report. You can see here, 2 hours ago, 2 hours ago, 5 hours ago. 4,000 views, 20,000 views, almost 30,000 views. Now, granted, these are larger platforms. These are larger channels. Absolutely, Schwab Network, 1,600 views. But you could see this guy like Ira Epstein. Here he got 600 views, and that's in the last 19 hours. You could start putting out content around this stuff and point back to your tool and get yourself some really fast and easy traffic. Let's check out the calculator again. Let's see if we got, oh, export PDF worked. All right, that's pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah, works. All right. That means you can print it. You can do whatever you want with it. You could do it as a giveaway, an email giveaway to people. You could do it as a download. You could do it, I mean, you could do a lot of stuff with this. There's really, sky's the limit. All right, looks like we got our final data here. So we got a full breakdown, and this is, whoa, it's a lot of data. Okay, so we could go ahead, click copy. Gonna go over here and we're gonna say, actually, you know what? Let's do it this way. We're gonna make a new text file, and I'm going to, let's do this. Tariff amounts, copy. Let's see, I wanna make sure it copies the actual data. Let's just go from the top. Tariff rates, here we go. You ready? Woohoo! Grab all this, grab all that, why not? Copy. Let's try that. There we go. Now we got it. I'm gonna call it tariffs.txt. All right. Now we can actually just drop this in as a file. So just literally drag it in, bloop, right, like that. Okay. Now please use this to embellish our calculator, make it super detailed, make it detailed yet simple to use. I like the ability to select a country, and in the drop down we show the effective tariff rate. Go. Now we're going to drop a hammer on this. So let's try that again because the upload didn't complete. Let's see, we just got to get this to, there we go. All right. Let's stop this, hit go, and let's see how we do with that. Now it's going to think it through. And this is why I like the thinking mode, is because it's going to take its time. It's going to just figure out what the actual best way is to move forward. And it's not just going to do a knee-jerk reaction and just spew out a bunch of junk. It's actually going to do a really good job for us. So that's the important thing, is that we're leveraging this tool properly. All right, looks like we're done. Run code. Let's take a look here. Now we've got that drop down, which I like. I think that's kind of cool. We could do Norway, Korea, whatever, Spain, right? Country of origin. So let's say the importer is the United States. Let's say we're going to import from China. Let's use that number. Goods value. Let's say we're going to import $1,000 worth of goods. Freight, we're going to spend, let's say 50 bucks. Insurance, let's say 50. So we're talking about all this, freight and insurance, USD, calculate. Now we get a full breakdown of everything. And if I move myself here, we could see the total landing cost. So you're looking about $1,100, and we can actually change this around to, let's see, I think we can manually, we could just do goods if we want to. All right, looks like we're ready to try it. So run code, universal tariff calculator. Now the overall look and feel of this is not super great, but we have our effective rate. We have China. We can set this to whatever it is that we want. We could set it to Kenya. We could set our code. Now, obviously, it depends on what it is that we're doing, okay? Because it did store some extra data in here. So it's not going to be across the board 2.2%. It's going to depend on what it is. Goods value, let's just say it's $500. Freight, let's say it's $100 in freight, $100 in insurance. Calculate, we get a full breakdown, including the total cost and how the rates are actually found. Now, if you promoted this, like I mentioned before, you can promote it with a press release. You can do it on social media. You can have a private source of information like these guys at Inside Trade, right? You can literally start charging and start offering people that insight into the trade deals and what's going on, because it is a whirlwind and there's news about it every day. If you were to just take a look at their website here, you could just see it's just loaded with trade news. And again, the news is just absolutely jam-packed with this stuff. So I hope you guys found this helpful. If you did, smash the like button. Head to mattmakesmoney.com for show notes, and I'll catch you soon. Thanks for watching.